Ladies and gentlemen, it's late night Baltimore. Welcome. And it's late night, and we were kind of delaying to do this show because, of course, it was a disastrous, not a disaster, but a saddened end to the NFL season for us, for the Ravens. But here we are doing the show, and now we're going to talk to you about it. So get ready. Call in if you want. If you want to vent, you want to throw your ideas about the Ravens, what they should do, or if you got any ideas, or if you just want to vent, we are ready to believe you. So give us a call. Okay, now what we have to do now is let's talk about something. Now, people will tell you if you're a big Ravens fan or sports fans, and they aren't, to just get over it, that it's stupid to be all emotional about the end of a game. But I'm here to tell you that there's nothing wrong with being emotional about a game. This was a very difficult season, a lot of roller coasters to this season, and not in a good way. More kind of like the roller coasters you throw up on. A lot of difficult moments, a lot of inspiring or positive moments of coming back from a lot of adversity. There was a great deal of adversity, but at the end, they weren't that great of a team this year, and so it was two mediocre teams that played and they lost. But how do you handle it in the immediate time? First of all, it's okay to feel bad about it. Go ahead, feel bad. Let the feeling run through you. Go vent. Don't go overboard, but give yourself a couple of days to feel horrible about it or pissed off about it. That's okay. That's healthy. Don't tell yourself that it's stupid and it doesn't matter, and then don't give up on the team completely, like you hate the team now or you hate football or everything. Just feel what you're gonna feel for a couple of days. Then after that, take a couple of days away from football, sports news. Don't look at it on media. Um, just take a break. Uh, that works best. Um, After you felt it and after you take a break, don't let anyone tell you you have to have a certain perspective because we all know that it's a game and that we have no control over it. But you can still feel bad about it. Now, if you have friends who taunt you about it, well, that's a good sign to drop those fans because they're just being a-holes, especially if they're Steeler fans taunting you still. They won fair and fair. I don't know, fair and square. Fair enough that they won the game. They're a mediocre team who beat us, a mediocre team. They missed an extra point. We missed a easy field goal. We came back and we almost won. We got to stop playing these night games. People don't talk about that enough. These games that go on Sunday night, they had so many this year. What happened to playing football at 1 o'clock? 1 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon. That's when you're supposed to play football, not 8 o'clock at night. I have to sometimes travel in the middle of that game of the game time on Sunday nights, and every time I get in my car, I don't want to listen to it on the radio, and I come wherever I get to my destination. The whole tide of the game has turned, and it's just not a natural time to play all your games on cold Monday nights. Now, let's want to look at the specific game real fast. It's all past ancient history at this point, but we can look at what happened real fast. Uh, Missed field goal, of course. The rookie Tyler Loop, he's been having problems with kickoffs. He hasn't really made long field goals this year, and he hasn't been in a lot of pressure situations. But he missed a 44-yard field goal. I thought maybe the Ravens, with two timeouts and 13 seconds left, could have run the ball or a play for more yards, or could have gone and kicked right away and called timeout if there was a botched snap of some sort. But that didn't happen. But bringing that up, I would say that this year, John Harbaugh did a lot better. There weren't a lot of time clock management mistakes this year. I think that's fair to say. But that's what I noticed anyway. And that's a big improvement. So people are calling for all kinds of firing. Now you can call this show and you can say what you want about anyone on the Ravens. We here at this show trying to avoid the word fire because if John Harbaugh gets replaced, he's not really being fired as such because he'll have about 12 minutes before he's hired, before he gets a position on another team. If that were to happen, it hasn't happened yet as of, what is it, 3 o'clock here in the afternoon. I can't even see the time. But it hasn't happened yet. It's probably not going to happen today. And then if it doesn't happen today, it might not happen. So that's where the keys to the game. Also, the Ravens gave no pass rush. So Aaron Rodgers, Steelers quarterback, had all the time in the world. You're going to be picked apart. And the defensive backs, well, Kyle Hamilton went out at the start of the third quarter, and that's when the Ravens had only allowed 3. That's when the Steelers started to pile up points because they were atrocious on defense, as they have been, as they were against the Packers. Lamar, he deserves credit. He came back when it counted. He had a lot of injuries he had to get over this year. He deserves credit for that. And he got us down to the win, put us in a place to win the game at the end there. He did all he could. He didn't have his greatest season, of course. He was battling injuries. But I think he rose to the occasion in that game. I think he had a great fourth quarter. Also did down the stretch, King Henry, the running back, Derrick Henry. He ran like insanely there especially the last quarter of the season. So he deserves credit. But on offense, they didn't really have a lot of great players, receivers. The line was not good. Maybe the center, Lindenbaum, or whatever, he's okay. But they didn't really give good protection against the Steelers, who had a lot of their own injuries, but still managed to score, put themselves in a position to win the game. On defense, of course, the defensive line was horrible all season. Their defense was terrible all season long. That's not really a shock to anybody. All right, so that game's over. The Steelers are going to go off to their own mediocrity, and they are going to probably most likely be a one and done. Now, the bad news for the Steeler fans is that Aaron Rodgers wants to return, and he probably will return. So I don't see a lot of improvement there for Pittsburgh for next year. But that's okay. Anyway, call live. Everybody gets on. If you want, comment as you want. We are the 6-7 network, or the 6-7 TV show. Nobody watches us. Nobody calls. So if you call, you get on. All right, that's enough about the Ravens season. They'll have more. We'll talk more about the offseason once they themselves have gathered and decided what they're going to do. I'm really not up for getting rid of Harbs. I think maybe Moncton might have to go get somebody else, and maybe defensive coordinator changes. But if Harbaugh stays, I'm okay with that. If Oshadi decides that a new voice is needed, I'm all right with that. So it looks like the Cleveland Stefanski is available. That might be a good choice because he was coach of the year twice, and Cleveland really had no quarterback there for a while, and he got some wins out of them. Anyway, whatever you think. Anyway, I think we're all getting over the loss by now. It's Tuesday. And we know we didn't have the season that we thought we were going to have. But we do have some hope for the future because there are still some stars on the team, and this team always moves forward in the off season. They almost always make uh, impressive changes. Don't let the media tell you that that's not true. Okay, let's see. We'll talk about the off season next time. Anyway, let's look at other NFL news. Arizona fired. I mean, we don't want to say that. Okay, Arizona got rid of Jonathan Gannon, the head coach of Vegas. Got rid of Pete Carroll after 1 year. Kevin Stefanski is let go from Cleveland. Atlanta fired their head coach. The Commanders got rid of their offensive and defensive coordinators. And it looks like the Bengals are retaining Zach Taylor for another year, and that the Colts are keeping Shane Steichen for next season, which I don't see that he was on the hot seat at all. I thought they had massive injury problems, but they were pretty good before then. All right, it's time to call the games. In the NFC on Saturday, the playoffs are starting. The wild card. Rams at the Panthers at 1:30. I say Rams. Packers at Bears. I'm going to have to go with the Bears at home. Sunday, it's Bills at Jacksonville. I'm picking Jacksonville. The 49ers then are playing at Philadelphia. That's a close one on Sunday at 4:30. I'm going with the Eagles, the home team. The Chargers are at the Patriots on Sunday. Huh? Yeah, I'm going with the Patriots. And Houston is at Pittsburgh on Monday night. I'm going with Houston Texans. Myles Garrett set the single season sack record with 23 sacks. Devontae Adams, Rams wide receiver, is set to return for the playoffs against the Panthers. And the Eagles are supposed to get Nakobe Dean back for their playoff game. Travis Kelce hasn't announced whether he's retiring or not. And Miami's quarterback Tua Tagovailoa has said, following a mid-season or a late season benching, that a fresh start unquote would be okay with him, would be cool. Okay, that covers NFL news. We'll have more shows on this. All right, what we're going to do now is let's go around and see what the rest of the the local Baltimore media is saying about this game. So let's go look at the Fan. The Fan now has a YouTube station, and we are going to show snipe, as they call it. We are going to go on as they're on live, and we are going to check them out. Okay, so they've got their guys here. Ken Wyman. I don't know who this middle guy is. And I don't know who this other guy is. Let's hear what they have to say. Hold on now. Technical challenges, right? We will share the screen with them. And let's hear what they have to say. Have they something to say? They're not saying it. Okay. Come on now. Come on, fan.
Never be able to afford to get into the black lung, most of them. I get it. I get it. But think about all the people whose seats have been displaced.
Yeah.
For the richest one.
They're trouble. They're having trouble. They have more trouble broadcasting than we do. Come on. You buffering fan. You're 105.7 the fan. You're supposed to be professionals. We don't need to see there. Look at this. Buffering. What the hell? What a disgrace. They can't even broadcast. This is okay with them.
But think about all the people whose seats have been displaced.
Yeah.
For the richest one.
Now it's not the problem of this station. I'm sorry. You guys suck, man. All right. Well, if they suck, they suck. Let's forget them and let's go back to our own. We are not buffering like that. We'll go back to them, but let's also check out our buddy Nasty. He doesn't call himself Nasty. He's Baltimore positive, Nestor. He usually has somewhat of a nuanced take, usually, although he hates the team because they won't let him in the press box or something. All right. Here's their latest. Let's do it. Old Nestor saying.
Getting ready for we thought would be playoff action. Luke thought they were going to win. I thought the Steelers were going to win, by the way. I was on record with that. The missed kick thing and the drama part of it and the fact that they came so close and they could have and they should have and they would have. And, they would have beaten Houston this week. And, there's all of that. And then there's the reality of you and I fighting over whether it's the coaches or it's the players or it's the players or it's the coaches. Or if it's the players, then it's the Costa, right? If it's the coaches, then it's Harbaugh.
That's right.
I don't know where Bisciotti's going to come up on this. And he's the only vote that matters here now that because he's doling the money out at this point. And the other vote would be Lamar. And you and I are going to fight about that for months until it's solid or it's not solid as to whether he really wants to be here. And I always question that. I will continue to question that as long as he's here. I mean, I just will. Like, it's going to be his decision. It's an NBA thing, right? Like, if he doesn't want to be here, they have bigger problems than that, no matter who the coach is. Or if the coach and he aren't right, and Steve has to pick one, as the pundits have said, this is a time to decide whether you like your players, your coaches, your evaluators, your team president and your nasty PR director
you like
around here. I don't know what that looks like for them in the offseason, but coaches or players, you and I would say yes.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't know how you can. And it's not meant to be a cop-out. It's meant that when you have something that looked the way that it did 2 years ago, or even the way that it did last year until the divisional round, it's not as though they didn't have a great regular season, didn't have a really good team last year. But when it becomes this, which was at best mediocre, at best looked good for a game or two at a time. Yeah, and I get it. They had a 5-game winning streak. Go look at the teams they played, right? I mean, it wasn't. That Bears win aged well. I'll give them that. Other than that, I mean, they just weren't very good. So when you see that isn't just one thing that leads to that. I think their coaching left a lot to be desired this year, and I think the players themselves. I mean, look, love Derrick Henry. Ended up having an amazing season. It was a better second half away from winning the rushing title. Go look at the final numbers. I mean, he just missed out on that. I mean, Pittsburgh shut down the run and just kind of shut down their offense until the Ravens' last couple drives. But I mean, Derrick Henry had a critical fumble.
That's true. He almost won the rushing title, the NFL rushing title. Come on, the man's like 55 years old. All right, let's move ahead and see what they're saying towards the end of this.
$1 million coach, you have a $20 million middle linebacker. Yeah. I mean, you just have all of the, and to your point, you might start to bleed even more if Linderbaum's going to be gone. If Derrick Henry just says, I'm done, I'm good. Marlon Humphrey's got to be gone, right? I mean, there's some pieces to this. Matabike, I mean, I think.
It doesn't feel like he's coming back.
That's why they gave the money to Travis Jones and what they did.
Yeah, I mean,
they brought Mark Andrews back at $13 million now, and I don't smell that. I mean, Isaiah Likely's the one that caught the big bat. Where was Mark Andrews on Sunday night?
Where was Mark Andrews from the moment he signed the extension? And part of that is also how we talked about just the overall broken nature of their passing game. Whereas Zay Flowers, kind of the improv street ball plays to Zay Flowers, which, my goodness, it was amazing. What they did in the fourth quarter.
The second one was a street ball. The first one was like
it was. No, it was a great play.
Yeah.
It was a great play.
Yeah.
No, but I'm talking more so the body of work over the course of the season. When it wasn't Zay Flowers, I mean, what were they counting on with their passing game on any kind of consistent basis? I mean, not even Mark Andrews anymore. I mean, it used to be Mark Andrews was the default, but and that started to change last year with Flowers emerging to the degree that he did, but that wasn't even that. I mean, and you just re-upped Andrews.
Which I'm blown away by that. I mean, I'm starting to think DeCosta, we got to start talking about him, and they've never talked about that. That is a part of the department in 30 years. That is the pride of Bisciotti, is to say we don't change. Steve, Eric's like a son. I raised him as a son. He's here. He's my guy. I mean, I don't know, man. Bisciotti's not one of the most arrogant. Well, Chad Steele's the most arrogant man I've ever met, but he works for Steve. Steve's unbelievably arrogant in regard to that's my guy. That's my guy. If he shows up this week and says John Harbaugh's not his guy and Eric DeCosta's not his guy, that may be a John wants to retire kind of thing. Or, I don't know, because him coming in bleary-eyed and say, I fired John because John's not the right guy for us anymore. I fired Eric because he's not the right guy anymore. And Ozzy's going out the door too, because Ozzy had to go out the door at some point because he's pushing 80. So at some point, there will.
No, Ozzy's not close to being that old, by the way. No, it's just
how old? 72 maybe? 74?
He is 69.
Okay, all right.
No,
It's
just funny because I had a conversation recently with someone where I'm like, Ozzy Newsom's not as old as
no
you
wonder he comes to work every day.
He's been around forever.
He's only 14 years older than me.
He was in his 40s. He was in his 40s when he became the Ravens general manager.
Yeah. Well, but my point is, we've never had to discuss any of that, and now all of a sudden, at some point, it will be discussed. I think Bisciotti thought, well, that'll be for the next owner, not for me, because I'm not going to roll my sleeves up and go sitting with football executives to find the next Eric when I spent 12 years identifying Eric and keeping him around here and paying him too much so he would be the guy. So I don't think Eric goes anywhere.
No,
I don't think Ozzy goes anywhere. John, I don't know. I don't know. And John, as it relates to Lamar, if John and Lamar can't kumbaya together because one doesn't want the other doesn't want the other. I think that's the case, by the way. Just so you know, that's my opinion. My opinion is it's one or the other because together it ain't working.
Hello.
And that comes to me from the time of the day they practice.
We gotta get off the. We were doing other things. Hello, how are you, caller? Thanks for calling. What have you got to say? Venting on some Ravens?
Yeah, I'm venting on some Ravens. Rusty, long-time listener, first-time caller.
Hey,
so
Rusty.
I'm saying one thing. Who do you think's the happiest man in the NFL today?
I don't know, but
about a fellow named Justin Tucker.
Yeah, somebody said Justin Tucker on a Sunday night had another happy ending. That's the street joke.
Absolutely. Well,
No, they had to get rid of him. He wasn't no good anyway. He would have. There's no guarantee he would have made it.
Oh, you think he would have messed this up? 44 yards?
Yeah.
I understand he wasn't what he was. But for it to come down, I mean, the guy...
He should have made it.
What do you think
it's a doable field goal. Luke should have made it. He didn't really have any pressure kicks this year, so he probably was not used to the pressured kick because I don't think he had one kick this year that was like that mattered at the end of a game. But I guess all the kicks are pressured. But he missed it, no doubt, no good. And he did a lot of bad kickoffs, so it was his kickoffs that were worse this year than his place kicking. Hello?
All right, so my question, I got two questions.
So they can bring somebody in and compete with him next year because
it was
he's not the greatest kicker so far. These other teams if they had an incredible kicker, there's other teams that are kicking 50, 60-yard field goals or commonplace for them, and we need somebody like that. Like Aubrey.
Yeah, that was my
Aubrey from Dallas. That guy kicks like 59-yard field goals. Like most teams kick extra points. That would be nice if we got that again, or got that.
So, are you saying that the Ravens? So you're saying that the Ravens should try to draft Albright?
Oh, no, they can't draft him because he plays for the Dallas Cowboys, and he's a kind of a veteran.
We'll try to get him?
No, but somebody they gotta.
I didn't mean by draft.
They gotta get somebody. No, I don't think they can get him, but they can get. They gotta try to see if they can find somebody like that.
But do you think they should try to draft a kicker or get a veteran?
They can draft a kicker late if they want, but usually place kickers, even the best place kickers, come into the NFL and don't really make it even in their first camps a lot of times. So you can wait until get closer to the season for doing that about place kickers. I don't know about drafting a place kicker unless there's some spectacular person, but you wouldn't want to have to use an early draft for that person anyway. So most likely just wait until things settle down the off season. Bring somebody good in. Most kickers are pretty close, pretty even, but they could get somebody good that falls through the cracks or something like that. But they got a lot of other worries. They got defensive line worries.
That's my first question.
They got receiving worries, offensive line worries.
So my second question is, how long do you think this Steelers team stays in the playoffs?
I really don't think this Steelers team will survive past their first playoff game, which is against Houston and Pittsburgh next week. I think the Texans will win that game. So I don't think the Steelers will survive. I don't think the Steelers will survive more than one playoff game.
Does this mean that this is farewell to Aaron Rodgers?
It doesn't seem like it's farewell to Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers said that he, quote, had fun this year, unquote, and was looking to return if the Steelers will have him, which they will, since they made the playoffs and all.
Oh.
So that bodes well for the Ravens because Aaron Rodgers wasn't all that good this year. And next year,
he was good enough in 6 games.
Well, if the Ravens could had two deficiencies on defense in the second half, especially after the injury of Kyle Hamilton. One, they couldn't cover, and two, they couldn't rush the quarterback. So when they have a combination of those two factors, you're going to get picked apart. I don't care who the quarterback is.
Yeah, I agree. Second half defensive performance was not good.
Ravens need a pass rusher of some sort, and they need some help in receiving. Derrick Henry, though, was sort of a star of the whole league almost. He got very close to being the leading rusher in the whole NFL, and that's not bad for a position where you're supposed to be kind of through when you're 30, and he's like 32. So he was a big he really came back, especially in the last quarter of the season.
So you think is he coming back?
That's also unclear. It's all unclear for the Ravens for the offseason. Everything from
everything, even John.
Well, you just don't know with probably John Harbaugh comes back, but maybe the offensive and defensive coordinators get replaced.
What about Lamar?
If Lamar wants to come back, Lamar's back. But if he wants to move on for some reason, I think Lamar's back. I think right now, I think Harbaugh is back. And Eric DeCosta is back. So I think that. But Bisciotti is going to think about it. I'll go with whatever Bisciotti says because he's usually gets these things pretty good. I mean, I'm good either way. John Harbaugh's had great success here, but if they want to get a different voice, that's okay too, because it's been 20 years, so it won't be too bad for anybody, even himself, if he has to move on. But I'm good if he stays either way. It's okay with me. So we'll have to see. It's all a big mystery. More news coming out in the NFL all this week. There'll be changes. I think there's already been 7 coaches let go, 6 or 7 coaches let go. So this is the week in the NFL where a lot of coaches get axed. But wild card, a lot of football this weekend, and it should be some good games. The Bills game.
What's going to be your favorite game?
My favorite game will be the Eagles versus the 49ers. That'll be a great, interesting game. But my favorite game really will be the Jaguars versus the Bills, because I don't know the Jaguars almost at all, besides the quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, who had a great year. I don't know the team that well, and I'd like to. That'd be interesting to see how they do against the Bills. It's in Jacksonville, so it'll be a very, very compelling game, I think. Jacksonville doesn't have any experience in playoffs much, so. But they were 13-4 this year. That's why that's going to be a cool game to watch. How about yourself?
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not myself.
What team do you rooting for now that the Ravens have been cut? Who are you rooting for? Like, who do you like?
Who do I like? I like the Chargers, the Patriots, and the Packers and the Bears.
Yeah, the Patriots. Who do the Patriots play?
Well, they play the Bills.
No,
They got a bye?
No, I think that oh yeah, the Patriots play the Chargers on Sunday.
Oh, there you go.
No, the team that Denver got the bye and Seattle got the bye in the NFC. So it all gets sorted out. One and done. The winners go on, the losers do not. Well, Rusty, have you got any political views before we wrap things up?
Well, I think that with the economy the way it is, with Jeffrey Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein's files and the way that's going, when things aren't working, if you're a leader and things aren't working for you, start a war.
Yep.
I really can't. I really start thinking he's going. Donald Trump is kind of. He's made the president.
He's going insane. He's just
The
going to
president-
start attacking every country he can.
Yeah, the president is kind of going insane. I mean, Donald Trump has made his own himself. He's normalized himself into the American presidency because I can't see of anyone, any human being, to be saying the things he said. If Bill Clinton or Barack Obama started talking like him, they'd be hauled off to a psych ward. But he has gotten away with it, and he's got a complicit majority now because of gerrymandering and because of the deficiencies in the Democratic Party. But when I think the deficiencies in the Democratic Party, what I do, well, I'll say on Donald Trump. With the current,
he ain't gonna win no that Peace Prize. That ship is
There's not
sailed.
gonna win a Peace Prize, but he's so flippant with the press when they ask him who's running Venezuela, and he goes me, and then the vice president of Venezuela gets sworn in, take over as president, which is like, yeah, that seems normal. But he's also said on True Social that she's going to have it worse. The vice president is going to have it worse than Maduro has. And he also is saying that Colombia better watch out, which is like, any other president to say that, even Nixon, would be considered totally insane. And then a headline with Stephen Miller saying that Greenland's days are numbered. To threaten a NATO ally like that is like unheard of. But they're trying to keep it wacky because they have nothing else when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to affordability, or what they're going to, or anything they're going to, or when it comes to the economy as it stands right now, or even employment. They got nothing. So they'll do the distraction, start a war. It happened with George Bush. It happened with George W. It happened with George W. Bush. It happened with George Bush. And we see what that got him. And then but what bothers me is that approval ratings for the Democratic Party are still lower than the Republican Party itself, and still lower than Donald Trump's disapproval. Their disapproval ratings are still 56%. It's still very bad. The Democrats have to provide affirmative programs and affirmative things like to show that they're going to help us and point out and keep hammering the message home. It's like Donald Trump is not. He's already shown who he's helping. He's not helping you. He is helping people. He's helping himself and his friends. And I do think that
J.D. Vance.
Also, finally, I think what Donald Trump just wants to do, he just wants to get his name on buildings and have everyone adore him. And we'll see how this whole Colombia Venezuela thing pans out, because it could be a big fat nothing burger.
Well,
I think
I don't know about that.
Thing could be a big.
I don't think
It's a big fat nothing.
I don't think the first George Bush, I don't think went into a war for the I don't think he had military action like that, like this. I don't think the first one.
Well, he had Noriega.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I forget.
He got in to get Noriega, and nothing happened there. But I really do think that what George Bush.
But that's all.
George
That's
Bush,
all in the past. Right now, J.D. Vance is set to quickly get a divorce from his wife so that he can marry Charlie Kirk's wife. That's the word on the street.
I would. Really?
That's the word around. It's a word around the town on those interconnections.
Wow. That would be interesting and not surprising.
Yeah, stupid. But that's just funny gossip. That just is not some. Well, anyways, that's about all we got time for today. Little politics is okay. Just get back into the
real
world because
Well, thank you, Late Night Baltimore. I always look to you for sports and politics.
Thank you. We really appreciate all you've done for watching and support.
Well, maybe you can review some films.
Yeah, I'm going to review some films. Right now, I'm going to do a film review. So keep watching.
Oh, okay.
The film I am going to review is it's called Wicked for Good. And let me tell you something about Wicked for Good. Wicked for Good was not good. I know that's easy for people to say. I had to watch it. I was forced into watching it. The first Wicked was pretty good, for the musical types. But Wicked 2, you see what the problem was with Wicked for Good, I give it 2 out of 5 stars. The problem was, if you haven't seen it yet and you care about the plot, which I don't see how anybody cares about plots in musicals, but everybody knows what happens. Anyways, at the end of the first Wicked, the Elphaba flies out, doesn't need Oz, doesn't need the wizard, doesn't need any of the people there, realize she has incredible powers, and so she flies off into some other realm for a new life. At the end of this Wicked for Good, Elphaba realizes that she doesn't need Oz and that she goes off to a new life in some other realm. In other words, they had an entire sequel where nothing changed really from the ending of the first film. Both films end really pretty much the same. The entire second film was really just a large waste of time and a lot of bungled stagecraft. So it was not a very entertaining nor a good film at all. They really fell after a pretty impressive first film of Wicked. That's my opinion. I had to sit through it, and that's what I'm going to say. However, now, if you are going to watch a movie about music, I am going to give you a suggestion. It's come out on digital release, and I hawked it when it first came out. It's the Bruce Springsteen movie. Deliver Me from Nowhere. And although it did not get a great deal of positive press reviews from critics, a lot of people didn't get it. I got it. And I say you should watch it. And if you watch it, you will really be impressed, because it's a film that deals with something that a lot of films have trouble dealing with: existential angst. And also, it covers Bruce Springsteen doing some of his greatest music, and it's about an artist wanting to return to what he really feels, wants to return to his roots, to his soul, and just work on making a great art piece of work. And very important that albums at the time were a work among within themselves. It wasn't a collection of songs as much as a total thematic art piece. All the songs, where they were, what they were, where they're placed on the album, it all comes out to the one big picture. The album itself is the artwork. It's hard to talk about music, discuss music, because, like someone said, reviewing music is like singing about architecture. And that might be right, or it might just be a quote I got completely wrong. Anyway, if you have stayed with us this long to watching this, we do thank you. We want you to like and subscribe. We want you to leave any comments you like. We'll be back with more football stuff, more Fighting MAGA, more trying to look into what's going on here in Baltimore. We are late night Baltimore. We're mid-afternoon Baltimore right now. We will have Fez with us next time. And we will say good night to you. Good afternoon. Have a good Tuesday. Forget about Ravens. Move past Ravens for now. Take a Raven break. And if you're a sports fan of other Baltimore sports, think about this. The Orioles looking like doing incredible things in the offseason, and very exciting. So take a break, relax, enjoy this week, and enjoy until the next episode. And we appreciate, and then we will give more of an analysis of the Ravens season with Fez. But we will say for now, would you like and subscribe? Would you? Please, we need the support. We appreciate it. We know we're not the greatest show. We actually think we are the greatest show. But be that as it may, we will say good night for now. Good day. F MAGA. Keep working hard. Go do something fun for yourself. Ease off. Allow the Raven hangover to just pass through. And we will talk to y'all later, F MAGA, and we will speak to you soon. Like and subscribe. And then we here at Late Night Baltimore, with our small group of players, We aren't buffering on our YouTube broadcast. You can't say the same for the big, bad 105.7, the Fan, which is supposed to be the broadcast sports giant in Baltimore, where they aren't anymore, but they were at one time. But they can't even put their show on the air, live stream as we can. All right, everyone. That was the longest farewell in history. I really have got to get some rest. Look at me. But I will say good afternoon.
Big Rooster.